All right, call a meeting to order. Approval of the September minutes.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Visitors' comments?
No visitors.
Great. Whole business.
We do like visitors for all those that watch afterwards.
Chair report to the city council, video. Oh, great.
It was just the link so they could watch what they wanted to do.
How did I miss that when I looked at the agenda?
Because I added it this week, but
Thank you, awesome.
if you want the PDF, that's if you click on the chair's report, or I can send it, we can send it out to you. So,
Okay. It's all filmed.
It's all on video.
Dan, I didn't mean what I said. Rooftop lighting update.
so just real quick on that,
Yeah,
so when
go ahead.
everyone sees it, that's what we're talking about. So you'll get a PDF like that. It's on the agenda as well. So rooftop lighting, we have our quote. The winning quote was from Stride.
Okay.
They came in the district portion, so everything over the Parkmore, front of the JHC, whatever we call that building. And then just around the corner of the tower, I called it. So just about 8 feet around that corner, 10 feet.
Okay.
At $1,643.
Okay.
Which is under the Olive and Oak one by about $150.
Okay.
So it's a little less run they gotta do it such and less monkey around. So all in $3,286. So we'll reach out to JHC if you all is in the budget, it's fine. You
Yes.
can do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Decorative parking sign update.
It's
Not, well, Tim passed it off, I think, or something happened. No.
I actually talked to Laura yesterday.
Okay, all right, here we go.
I actually did something. No, it's in the works now. Does anybody know how many signs there are? I'll go around and count them. If I need to. I probably need to do that anyway, just to assess how many damaged ones there are as well. But we are in the works of this now.
There's a GIS map somewhere.
There is a map, so we'll pull up a number for you. Tim and got it. Frank's always counted them as well, because when I've asked him about this in the past, he went and counted them as well. So we've got
Okay.
the number somewhere. I'll get it
Okay.
over.
Great.
On that, just briefly,
Joe. Hold on.
Joe knows the number. A couple of them did get taken down over the years with their damage, so we may have to look at some folders. Your Garland and such is all in, came in last year, so we wrapped one pole to see what it would look like. It's gonna go from the light bulb all the way down to the ground.
Okay,
We're thinking, when the signs are ready and done, we'll try to coordinate if we can do it at holiday, when we take that all stuff down to move the sign, the brackets up.
right,
That'd be great. If not, it'll probably be at the beginning of the summer season or spring
Okay.
season, so.
sounds great. Okay, new business.
You would ask for a budget update?
I did.
Okay. Pull that up. Let me get this out of the way. I think everyone should be able to see it on the screen. So budget update, your revenues, you have 1% of revenue in, which would be fully expected at this point in the year, because none of the property taxes have even been billed yet, and the business licenses come in April, so
Okay,
that's to be expected.
but business licenses are due in April
That's correct.
of next year. Is that when we see it?
Yes,
Oh.
so, yeah. So the fiscal 24 budget, which ends in 24, will grab the April of 24 business license.
I got you. I understand. Okay.
That you have no cash flow worries. We don't have to worry about meeting that problem. And even if we did, the general fund always backstops all the other funds for
Okay.
cash flow purposes, so.
Okay.
You do have, as you can see, your interest income is at 50% already this year, though. So the investments we've made of the old Webster money, of course, that interest flows back to the fund and such. So you're at $580 out of an expected $1175. So on the expenses, we're all in line. There's one anomaly I want to tell you about. It's not a bad anomaly. It's actually a good thing for you. And that's in this line, operational equipment. And you're going to see this column is encumbrances, which means a purchase order. We lock up the money because it's for this purpose. That $9,900 was for the Garland that we got a year and a half ago. They've never billed us. So we've kept an encumbrance on there to hold the money. We don't know if they're going to bill us. We keep asking them and they keep saying they'll send a bill, but we never get a bill. Yvonne made the order and she hasn't gotten a bill yet. So sooner or later, we'll just not pay for them if they don't bill us. Exactly, right? So, you would be surprised how many times that happens. Yeah, well, and because we're not buying humongous amounts of it, right? Compared to some of the places, so, invoice gets lost or they, never create it in some step of the way, so. I know you all couldn't run your business that way. It seems Northern Lights can, so.
Never happens to me.
So I just wanted to highlight that because it looks like you've spent 100% of that line item.
Mhm.
It's because we locked up all of that line item, which didn't intend to pay for Garland. That money was just sitting in the fund balance. So
Okay.
should you start to run low, we'll simply ask council to raise the bottom line number. That's a budget amendment. They do it all the time for funds. It's not a big deal at all, so. But otherwise, you're in line on spending. You look through the items, 41%, 70 in professional services. That's certainly your biggest portion of Fran is this time now. 43, 42 disposal services and land rental. The congregation church lease is up at the end of December, so we have reached out Pastor Danoon to have our first meeting with them on negotiating the next term of the lease. So.
Okay.
Streetlights are at 18% and your advertising's at 21%. So ultimately, bottom lines, you have, this is your year to date, you're at 43,000 of revenue. Excuse me, this is your year to date. 579 of revenue, 13,000 of expenses. So no concerns whatsoever from our perspective.
I guess my concern is overall, I guess, like last year it was a $17,000 deficit is what we
Correct.
went into. So I mean, I'm thinking, it's October, we're about to do budgets in a month or two.
Right, yeah, you got two meetings, then we'll bring the budget back to you.
Right, exactly, right.
So ultimately, it is fundamentally every time, because of these transfer here to up in the revenue to the business, to the parks, to do the business district stuff the parks does. You're gonna see your revenue actually, your total revenue for the year is budgeted at like 40,000, because we take 40,000 right out and move it over to the general fund to pay for that.
For parks.
For the parks, all the stuff they do, the planting and the hours and such. So if you have that deficit budget, which all three districts have been running, you're pulling down that savings a little bit every time. Now, that's if you use the whole budget, right? And sometimes we don't use the whole budget, and therefore you earn some of that back. You just got put back into the budget here, it wouldn't show on this report. We last year didn't spend the entire parks, what we transferred over. So then we put it back in the same proportional ratio that we pulled it out of the three districts. So I can't remember what your number is, but we refunded some money from the general fund back to your district. So the fund balance is still relatively right about the same as where it was.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
And we'll prepare all those and get them up before we get the January meeting, so you all can start to see them.
In the parks segment includes snow removal from sidewalks.
With the $9,000 for the garland in our deficit last year.
It was actually 2 years ago. That's how long we've been waiting on this bill. So we bought it in the 22 budget.
Just
Okay. BBC update.
Jim, we'll turn to you.
Um,
Go ahead, Jim.
I'm trying to think. We talked about, did we just discuss the coffee last time?
Just the coffee.
Yeah, just went over the coffee. I don't think I have anything else.
It'll be the February coffee, and there's a subcommittee meeting to figure out topic format and all those kinds of things, so that we can hopefully, before the Christmas rush really gets upon us, beginning of December, get out to save the dates and sort of what we anticipate topic to be.
They tentatively pick the Valentine's Day is the date of the coffee.
They picked that day.
on purpose.
Is that a big bike day?
Yes.
Not a big bike day.
I was gonna say.
February is not, not big, no. It's wide open in February.
It was-
August, not so much.
It was more of trying to do the X number Wednesday in February will always be the date, and then that's the 14th this year. Or next year.
And Ash Wednesday.
I was happy.
Is that Wednesday too? Yeah.
They both fall on the same day?
Yeah.
Well, now that's,
Go for
that's
it.
something to
And
think
celebrate your
about,
Mother's
that's
Day.
something to think about, because that's an early morning thing.
Right.
Right, that would be something more.
So thank you for saying that, because I wouldn't have thought of that.
No, that is very good.
They meet Thursday.
Okay. City update.
Councilmember Smith.
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Good morning.
Good. Just two, possibly three, if I can get permission to go ahead and do this last update. Destination Webster Groves. There's a out on the website for you to give the council feedback on the $22.1 million bond, no tax increase bond proposal we're planning for April. It's the Balancing Act. It's a really nice program to give us some feedback and suggestions on how you feel the money should be spent. We have already had.
I'm sorry. So I've tried clicking on this after a city council meeting where Fran sent something out that Maria sent out.
Didn't go well?
Nothing. Like it would, and I don't, maybe it's.
Sure.
I have Safari on my home computer and it may be something with that. I don't know.
So if it, we'll just go this way. So it's Webster Groves. If I can type right.
I got to the page. Now it's like I couldn't find anywhere to click
You
any.
couldn't find the Balancing Act.
I mean, it said click here and just zero.
Okay.
Happened.
Destination. Oh, Lord almighty, it's too early to spell. Destination WG. Where you want to click is this right here, either on the here or on the Balancing Act
All right.
logo.
I'll try it again.
We'll make it more abundantly clear.
No,
This-
it says click here. It's pretty abundant. If you see it, yeah, not very hard to see.
Did you ever get to the logo?
So, okay, I'll try it again.
Flash or something like that.
Nothing, it just nothing. It just I kept clicking on it and it could be, I don't know. Anyway, I'll work on it again. But, all right, sorry.
Sounds like you need a computer upgrade.
Maybe.
Yeah. And sometimes when you change search engines, it helps a lot too. 'Cause I have
Right, that's
two-
what, yeah, that's what so. Okay.
But yeah, we're asking you to go out and try to balance the act to give us feedback on what you think the 22.1 million is going to be spent for, and spread the word to all of the residents that you come in contact with to go out there and look at it. All of it's geared to parks and recreation. So it's important information because we have a very, very small time window to decide what we're going to do, because we want to have it on the April ballot.
And that, and that is due when? Like it's gonna close
November 3rd.
November 3rd.
And the pool and rec center is not part of this.
So it is.
It is.
So the overall, we've been talking about the aquatic center because that's the
Right.
big piece of it, but there is more capacity in the bond. Doesn't mean we have to use it all, but
Right.
for the count, that's the whole point of the input. Do we add other parks and recreation features onto the bond up to 22.1? That's our limit that we can go to on the tax rate without the tax rate increase.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it's all those items that we have on the list is something that the community can touch. I mean, it's actually going to have an immediate impact. What they can do, what they'll see that $22.1 million can do. Here's my list here. The Crab Commission or Crab Board for the charter presented their last final report to the council. Now we're going through their report and determining what we're going to put on the April ballot. April ballot is going to be full of information. So we will be discussing that on our next meeting to decide what we want to go out on the second meeting in November, what we want to show on the ballot. The Crab Commission did a great job, and we just going to keep the momentum going and make those decisions and present them to the community. And one other thing, the chairs of the boards and commissions met with Mayor Arnold, City Director Peoples. I don't know. Eric, were you in that meeting?
That was the mayor and the manager.
Mayor and manager.
I
With all of
Getting everything done.
I got the Zoom set
Yeah.
up for 30 seconds. So.
and all the chairs of the commissions and boards to review a policy. Is it okay? Normally I would say, can I do this in November, but it's okay to go ahead and discuss this right now?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
Good. Got a little time, I think so. But again, the purpose of this is so that we can control the time of our employees. We're finding that the commissions and boards we're butting heads with how they utilize their time and things they want. So basically, there were 6 points that council want you to realize and follow. Number one, the board's commission chair submits the written policy recommendation to the staff liaison. So in the event that you have a policy recommendation, it should go to the staff liaison. And the policy recommendation should reflect the agreement of the majority of the board and be submitted in writing and do not need to be submitted on the meeting request form. Item number 2, staff liaison coordinates with the department director chief to discuss policy recommendations. Number 3, the department director chief submits a recommendation to the city manager in response to the request. The recommendation should reflect and align with the city, state, and federal requirements that the feasibility of the implementation and staff resources would be needed. Number 4, the city manager reviews the policy recommendations and department memo. If the recommendation impacts other departments, a recommendation memo will be requested from the respective departments. If no other departments are affected, this step may be skipped. 5, city manager evaluates the board commission policy recommendation and the accompanying department memos and makes a recommendation based on the information. And 6, the city manager provides a written recommendation to the board's commission's chair, staff liaison, council liaison, and department director. All departments' memos will be provided to the board commission chair. The city manager will schedule a discussion on the topic on an available council work session agenda if it's supported. If it's unsupported, after reviewing the city manager's recommendations and departmental memos, the board commission shall determine if the meeting request form will be submitted to city manager to address with the council. If submitted to city council, city manager would submit all materials to the council for their consideration and determination if the topic should be placed on the agenda. And then the purpose of this is just that we are stretching staff time pretty much, and I'm guilty of it too. I call Eric and Marie and Mara all in the same day asking them to do something, and it was taken away from their day-to-day. So they can control the requests and what resources are needed. We're asking the boards commissions to follow this process. Any questions?
No, but I just want to use an example. So
Certainly.
like when I contacted you and asked you about the budget, I don't
That's
even,
fine.
that's
No, no.
the small
Yeah.
little things.
Small information request, totally fine. What he's talking about are really policy recommendations. So if I'll use let's go to benches, right?
Right.
We want wood benches.
Right.
That's your policy recommendation. We take the vote. There's a form, which I'll have, and I'll provide you guys a link. You can all see it. So just simply, we write down what we want, and it goes over the staff side of things for a recommendation. Doesn't stop there, it comes back to you. You can either say, the staff doesn't like it, but the hell with them, we're going on to the council. Or we can say, yeah, okay, we'll work with the staff and figure it out. So it's, all that process really is that right there. Just
Okay.
making sure that we have the recommendation of the councils understood and recognized, and then move it onto the council at the right point. So.
And the good thing is, this year, all of our commissions and boards are very active. They're doing work inside of their committees and commissions. So that's good. But like I said, we're stretching staff resources thin. So we want to make sure that we stay in control of it. And provide you responses in a timely manner. Other than that, I believe that's all I have.
There was also something in that meeting about sunshine laws. Quite a bit about it, sunshine laws, actually. And so I don't see that this group has ever had an issue with it ever. But one thing that could possibly happen, and let's just say we have a meeting that gets a little heated and then we all go outside and we're out front and we're all sitting there talking about it, and discussing it, that is not allowed. That's the only example I can think of that would maybe even, that I can even think, okay, well, that could have possibly once, but it has to have a quorum too. So let's say we're all at Jazz Festival and we're all having a beer and we're just talking, that's nothing. It's just talking about and making decisions on city business, and having a quorum in doing that.
Exactly. And luckily, the law is really on your side because your power's advisory, right? You guys can't say we're gonna build a whole new set of streetlights right here, right? I mean, that fundamentally has to go to the council at some point. So, but it is true that you couldn't, all seven of you could walk out of here and go stand out front and then make a different decision and all that. The public was not afforded the right to know that kind of decision was being made. And then there's the whole thing of a walking quorum. One person goes around to every person and says, we want you to vote this way, and so that's, you don't have to worry about that. Those don't rarely happen. But there is, otherwise your sunshine law in terms of that, that's why the agenda and minutes are up on the website and the minutes are put there. So that side is all covered. Public notice is given, we hang it up on the bulletin board and comply with all those laws for you. Questions on that?
And hopefully the next meeting, our next meeting, or it'll be the first meeting in December. I'll bring back to you what the recommendations of the council for the charter that we're going to place on the at the election.
Officer Razul, is there anything on parking? No, sir. Oh, right.
It's all perfect.
It's okay.
We're getting that curb replaced. Okay. Curb repair.
Okay, and nothing else from city?
Nope.
All right. Next meeting is November the.
It's the week after Thanksgiving. It's the 28th, something like that. So.
I could have jury duty. We'll see.
I don't know which is worse.
I hope I don't, but we'll have it that Monday, so we'll see what happens.
We will look at the schedule for 24. So I'll bring the draft back, but if you can remember to sort of look at your calendars and see if you have any major moments in calendar year 2024.
Oh, for like dates?
Dates for your meetings,
Oh,
just to get them all set, so.
Who's our vice chair?
I don't know. In January, now that we've got the ordinance redone and they're all one set of ordinances, every commission in our January meeting will be one of our items to elect the officers.
Okay, got it. Right.
And you just have to have a chair and a vice chair. You don't have to have a secretary anymore.
I didn't think so.
I don't know that we have one listed. So
That's all right, yeah. Here usually.
If you look on the minutes, I don't have one listed
Got
because
it. That's all right. All right. Okay.
We'll nominate Dave.
There, exactly. There. Perfect. That's what happened. Dave or Stacy, either one.
Right at the onset of tax season.
Right. Okay, guys. All right.
All right, good.
We're
Thank
good.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, everyone. Good day.